Mace Windu is one of the most recognisable Jedis from the prequel trilogy, thanks in part to Samuel L. Jackson's charisma, and also thanks to his iconic purple blade, which always made him easy to spot even in a field of Jedi.
I could find myself in that big fight scene in the middle of that, there's like 300 lightsabers in there. There I am right there.
Welcome back to The Order, where we talk about all things awesome and collectible. Today we're going to take a look at the new and updated Mace Windu Legacy Lightsaber, available from Galaxy's Edge and Shopdisney. We'll take a look at the packaging, the hilt, and everything else that comes in this bundle to hopefully help you work out if it's worth picking up. If you enjoy this video, it would be amazing if you could leave a like and subscribe.
Help a veteran get a warm meal.
Let's get in. Just as a bit of history, this is actually the second release of this saber, with the first being available in the plastic grey crates from Galaxy's Edge. These sabers were hilt only as well, so where you lose a bit of display quality without the box, your wallet will thank you here for buying this new design, which comes ready to go with a 31-inch blade, stand, and a belt clip, so you're ready to go with no further expenditure. Getting into the bit that we're all here for, the hilt itself. The design has been faithfully recreated by Disney here, though I do have one criticism, and that's the girth on this thing. This is a fat saber. The metal chassis itself is pretty thick, but then when you add these rubber grips down at the bottom, suddenly this saber feels unnecessarily wide and much less comfortable in the hand. I've got fairly small hands and I accept that, but as you can see here, I actually can't get a complete grip all of the way around this hilt. Compare that to the Skywalker hilt, and you can see there, this has a fairly comparable grip section, and that's very easy for me to get my grip around. So this, perfectly sized, this, too fat. Otherwise, the design looks great, the gold accents against the chrome silver and the black rubber sections are actually beautiful. In terms of the rubber grips, I always worry that they might come off, but if you look inside where the battery goes, you can actually see that these are connected in threes, so the chances of one of these popping off is extremely unlikely. In terms of getting to the battery, nice and simple, just unscrew the pommel and away you go. Unfortunately, this does still take 3 AAA batteries, so no rechargeable hilt here. I don't have the first, so I can't really compare and contrast to see what differences were made between this and the original grey crate. But I do know that Finding the Force did a review of this and suggested that there have been various improvements, and one of those was that there'd been an improvement to the ignition switch, which was rattly in the first release and better in the second. I don't know if I got a duff one or he got a really tight one. Mine is fairly rattly, and I guess that's just a cross I'm going to have to bear. So that's enough of me moaning. Let's take a look at the ignition. Pop and lock activation, as with all Legacy sabers. That sounds awesome. Disney did an awesome job with that ignition sound. There's a little bit of a rattle in the speaker, but I kind of don't care because it's got a really raw sound to it. Really good bass. The bass lightsaber hum as well is continuous, so there's no break between the ignition sound and it kind of settling into, almost standby mode. You can't really say, it looks actually a bit darker on camera, but in the daylight this almost has a more violet or light purple effect. But still good, still bright, though you can make out the LEDs fairly clearly. Let's take a look in the dark. So in the dark the blade is really vibrant. You can see that it's also a much darker purple in the dark, which is really awesome. For motion sensitivity, it's probably one of the worst sabers I've come across with Disney, which is a bit of a shame, especially with a re-release where they could have built in improvements made between the original release and this re-release. It just doesn't want to seem to pick up even my extremely basic swings, so imagine if someone who had a bit of flair tried to use this. If you use this with a 31-inch blade, I've also noticed that it's particularly creaky. I've got the smaller blade in now and it's actually not doing the same thing, so it might be something to do with the blade, it could be something to do with just the hilt not coping with the length, but it kind of creaks like an old ship if you're using that. All in all, is this a lightsaber I'd recommend picking up? I have to be honest, unless you're a massive Mace Windu fan, I'm not sure I'd recommend this. Weirdly, in some ways, the Disney toy version actually outperforms this high-end cousin. I've done a review on the toy version separately and I'll leave a link at the end, but if you want me to do a side-by-side comparison, just hit me up in the comments. As I said at the start, you can pick this up from Shopdisney. I'd recommend waiting for a sale before picking it up. I'd love to say that Disney smashed it, but unfortunately not this time.